Welcome back to Jack Tales. How's everybody doing? So I need to address our viewers and followers and all of our subscribers and everything. We're about to talk about conspiracy theories and specifically government conspiracy theories. The theory that the government wants you to fail. So if you are pro-government and all that stuff, shut this off now. Because this podcast is not for you.
Don't be rude.
Alright, so let's get started. How you doing, my buddy Kyle?
We're finally getting into what this podcast was started for. And that was to talk conspiracies, talk politics,
Talk theories.
talk real stuff with some real hook. You know, we wanted to see who can get through and sift through the fun, get to know us and learn about us. That's why we did, friendship episode. We did
Nerd
episode. We did dad bod episode. Things about us. Now that you cannot just be like, oh, we're terrible human beings because of our conspiracies and beliefs and everything else, because you have a little backstory on us and you can compile whatever opinion you want about us previous to that, and we say,
Don't be rude.
now we're going to get into what this podcast is really about, and today is government.
Government wants you to fail.
And this is something we don't need our coin for, because there's no debate. We agree.
We're going to tell you our theories. You can agree and listen. Listen, by no means are we saying, rise up against the government or anything like that. Okay? I don't know, Kyle, you want to add to that little thing or something? Because you look like you want to say something there.
I'm going to give you guys... I don't pull out my phone often. I'm just give you a little snippet. You don't get the whole thing.
You did this without me, by the way?
Yeah, I want to post this, but there's some copyright things here with Warner Brothers. It's their music, so I'm letting you know this is Warner Brothers. It's from a movie of theirs, Les Mis Rose. I'm probably saying it wrong, but let's see.
And the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums. There is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in on the
If you know the song, you can listen to the whole song. It's the American flag, along with the we stand behind our police, our military, and fire. Flags waving in the background, so obviously wearing a Marine shirt. He, at some point, was the Marines. I will not wear an Army shirt, but at one point I was in the Army, so I'll wear a flag shirt.
No. So, anyway. So, I started, like I was saying, the government wants you to fail. And I started thinking about this the other day, okay? So, American society, I'm going to say this real simple. American society is dumb as shit. And the reason why I say that is, okay, because, so a lot of people think that, oh, by the age of 25, well, let's start. At the age of 18. Age of 18, okay? You got to go to college. Right?
I would say that's Obama administration.
No,
beyond. I'm just saying that was the big push. So it's Obama administration and beyond.
No, it wasn't, because back when I was in high school, that was before Obama administration.
What year did you graduate high school?
2008.
7.
8.
7.
7. 7.
And when did Obama get elected?
I don't remember.
2008.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Alexa, what year was Obama elected for his first presidential term?
Here's something I found on reference.com. Barack Obama was first elected as the 44th President of the United States on November 4th, 2008. He was sworn into the
2008?
office on
That's what I just
January
said.
20th, 2009.
Alexa, cancel. We can go back. Alexa, cancel. We can go back and re-listen to this then. I said 2008. So your entire adult life was already being pushed to you for college. 2008. You graduated in 7.
No,
it was
because
already
your
being...
college starts getting pushed in your junior year. So if I graduated in 2007,
Okay.
that means I was a junior in 2006.
It was a slight push because they knew, but again,
No, they pushed hard. They pushed hard in my year.
2008 to 2012, it was, if you don't go to college, you're dumb, you're not going to succeed, you're not going to have a job, you're going to be working in a factory or flipping burgers. Which, speaking of factories, Why do you think you go to school for the hours you go to school for?
It's train you to work in a factory.
Train you to work in a factory. And why don't you learn life skills that matter? Like accounting, finance, investing, how to do your taxes. Why don't they teach you that?
That one I'm not too sure. No, but
Because if they taught you accounting, finance, how to do your taxes, you would know how to manipulate the system. You wouldn't be able to contribute the same way. You would invest, and you wouldn't have to have that MIC job, that factory job, or that low-end job where everyone's always like $15 an hour, $15 an hour. That wouldn't matter because you can learn about arbitrage, which is dumbed down. You can Google it later. But arbitrage is where you buy a house. You wouldn't buy a house for starters, but you buy like a duplex or a 4-unit. You rent out the other units you're not staying in. After 6 months, that becomes income. You can then use that income to buy another property. You rinse and repeat the cycle, so you're always borrowing against the bank to buy your next property. When people give you their first and last month's in security deposit, you use that money, you put it aside, and that money goes to what? Fund your down payment for your next purchase. Again, you can go into, I'm not going to go into too much detail because that's not what we're here about. We're not talking finance today, but look into arbitrage. And you can literally be a millionaire off of bank money. And then you never have to pay taxes simply because someone else is paying down your mortgage, the tenant who is renting from you. And as they pay that down, and the housing market, as we all know, increases over time, historically it's always gone up. Yes, there's been dips, but it's always gone up. So your house value increases, the equity's getting from the increased value, and someone else paying it down. Then you borrow that equity, and you can do what you want with that equity because it is a loan, it is not income. You can borrow from 30 of your properties a year, say $30 million, say $10 million, say $1 million, and it's tax-free income because it is not income, it is a loan. And then someone else pays that loan back, and you live off that, and that's how you never pay taxes to your government. But they don't want you to know that. Again, another thing, another topic, back to government wanting you to fail. Prime example, they don't talk about that. They don't teach that. Little tip of the trade there.
Well, then they also want to push you towards college and everything. And, college, if you don't go to college, you're just a big... I'm going to tell you right now, okay? I make more than a person who graduated college. In fact, I've heard of people who work for a company for 10 years, and I still make more than them, and I'm only in my second year at my company. Okay? I make 6 figures doing what I do.
Yeah?
But
any blue-collar job, any union...
Any
tradesman. Any union tradesman after 5 years is netting minimum, and this is just saying you're doing the bare minimum. You're netting 55, 60 grand. After all your taxes, all your insurances are paid for, you're netting $55,000, $60,000 a year, and you don't owe a cent to anybody.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, they want you to go to college, okay? At the age of 25, you got to be out of your parents' house. After you're done with college, you got to get out. Now you need to find a wife. Now you got to have kids. Now you need to buy a house. Now you got to have a brand new car. Everything that puts you into debt. And the only way you're going to get out of debt is either A, you die, or B, your family was rich just to start with. And that's the thing. They just want you constantly in debt. So, when you go back to your, arbitrage thing?
Arbitrage.
Okay. That's American society. Mexican society, I love their society. After they get married and stuff, they still live with their parents and stuff. They'll all buy a house together. You got 6 people living in one house, all paying the mortgage. Bam, mortgage paid.
And there's nothing wrong with either way of those. I wouldn't say that having a mortgage and having a family and having car payments, yes, those debts, definitely incur over time, but that doesn't set you up for failure. That's different aspirations of different people. Some people don't ever have families because they don't want them. Owning a house is definitely an American dream. It has become much more difficult in today's world.
Here's the problem. Okay, people looking at me being 33 years old, never married, no kids, no none of that. They look at me
and they go, a unicorn.
No, they see me and they go, "What's wrong with him? Why is he single? Why has he never been married? Why does he have no kids or anything like that?" I actually went on a date with a girl who said that a red flag to her is a guy who's never been married and a guy who has no kids. And it's true. Some people look at it that way,
and that's fine. They're entitled to that viewpoint of a single white Costa Rican immigrant male who...
I'm not an immigrant. I was born here in the United States.
Whatever, your father immigrated here. Through marriage. He cheated. He didn't even do the whole process. He's like, I just got married.
You still have to do the process.
He got some shortcuts. He got a little easier. He didn't have to come over no more. Whatever, it doesn't matter. That's another subject. He's got daddy issues.
I don't have daddy issues at all. My brother.
Your brother's got bad. Manny, if you're out there, Junior.
I tell him straight to his face he has daddy issues.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's got some daddy issues. So, Brandy, take care of him tonight. He needs it. Hold him the way his dad never did. But yeah, so government is definitely pro us failing. They don't want Americans to succeed.
Well, and also the thing is, if you're in debt, you need a job. Okay, if everybody did the arbitrage thing you said, stuff like that, like started their own businesses, were super successful.
If everyone did it, there wouldn't be any tenants to have rental properties.
You're absolutely right. You're right. You get what I mean, though.
Yes.
You get what I mean. What I'm saying is, like, if people were smart enough to do that, then people would slowly get themselves they wouldn't have to be in debt, and billion-dollar companies would start dropping like crazy. Because if you don't have workers, your company goes under.
I wouldn't say that billion-dollar companies would ever drop.
I don't think they would be billion-dollar companies anymore.
I wouldn't say that. You would still have... There's always going to be a group of people, no matter what information you give them.
The lower class, yes.
I don't even call them lower. There's always going to be a group of people, no matter what information you give them, no matter what resource you give them. You can give someone $1 million free and clear at the age of 18, and they could still be poor 3 months later.
Perfect example, yeah. People
win the lottery.
Yeah.
Yes. So there are people who have more opportunity and less opportunity. Mm-hmm. And that whole white privilege bullshit is just that. It's bullshit. It's opportunity, yes. Is it statistical data that white people are afforded more opportunity than black people? Probably. That is statistically accurate, but there's also like 3 times as many white people. So...
Well, the thing is...
If you break it down, it's probably really similar. I mean, going to like the athlete side of things, how many great white athletes are there currently? Not many.
Not many.
So it's a debate that can be had. So you can't use race. It's opportunity and how you react to that opportunity when it comes. And then having the knowledge and the discipline to maximize that opportunity. And that's all part of... You're trained from young on to be a contributor of society, to wake up, go to school, come home, eat, sleep, rinse, repeat. Become 18, graduate, whatever. Even if you have a degree in whatever. Most people, let's say you got a doctor's degree. What do? They wake up, they go to work, they come home, eat, sleep, rinse, repeat. It doesn't matter what level of your job is. It's the same. Corporate executives, same thing. Tradesmen, same thing. Grocery store clerks, McDonald's people, truck drivers, train operators, boat operators, they all have the same thing. Wake up, go to work, come home, eat, sleep, rinse, repeat. So that's instilling you from going to school. So how do we change that mentality and give people the work-life balance that they want and give it across the board? Well, one, we teach people about finances so they can better manage the income that they get from their job. So not everyone's going to make $100,000 a year. Some people might only make $30,000 a year, and you could still have a good work-life balance at $30,000 a year. You're just not going to have the same materialistic things as someone who makes $100,000 a year. Mm-hmm. But you could still have the same, if not better, work-life balance. So for me, one of those big things is 4 10-hour days. If we can go to that across the board, and that should be implemented in schools now to train people for that for the future. Just do 4 10-hour days and have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off, or Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or hell, if you want the weekdays off, take Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and go to school Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or go to work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because obviously businesses aren't just going to close 3 days every week. So you're going to have that.
Well, I don't know.
Transition of shift work.
Well, see, that's the thing. Like with the whole the way that the economy has shifted and everything, the worker now has more power than the employer. Because here's the thing. I don't care if you're a billion-dollar company. I don't care how much you pay. If people don't want to work for you, you are no longer going to be a billion-dollar company. You will be a company that doesn't exist anymore.
No. I think what you're saying is it has truth 30 years ago. I think the technology we have now...
We're not up to that technology.
The technology we have now would still allow them to be a billion-dollar company.
No.
They would
and the reason why it wouldn't is because we don't have the advancements of a robot Take a food trucking company, right? So a place that actually has to deliver. First off, no customer whatsoever, okay, is going to go into a truck and grab their own product off of that truck.
We see Walmart fill it every day with the buy one get two free. They literally are recording people at the checkout, and I don't know how true it is, but I saw this thing that they record you at the checkout, and when you steal enough stuff from them with the buy one get two free checkout deal that they have for all self-employees of Walmart checking themselves out, that they build a case against you and eventually they arrest you or come after you for all the shit you stole. Well, here's a novel idea, Walmart. Put people to work and get rid of self-checkout and have someone bag my groceries for me so I can have human interaction, because that's what I desire as a consumer, human interaction.
But obviously not. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, I guess we are really going to debate in this podcast because obviously if that were the case, you'd find a different place to shop. But
I don't shop at Walmart. I don't.
Okay, but
you know that. I don't. I shop my local grocery store because there's somebody checks me out.
Yeah.
You know this. I spend 3 times the amount of money that most people spend on food because I will shop at a grocery store that is 1 minute from my house versus 15 minutes from my house.
See, I don't have the big deal about,
I don't like self-checkout. I don't like Aldi. Nothing against Aldi. Aldi, you showed me Aldi. We went there the one day. I have a problem with the quarter thing. I can get past that because I can keep a quarter in my pocket. My big thing is the bags. Like, charge me an extra 10 cents per item and give me a fucking bag.
You can buy bags then.
I don't want to buy your bags because I got to bring your bags back.
No, you don't.
To use them next time. Otherwise, got to buy bags
but
again.
They're reusable bags.
I don't want reusable bags.
They're bigger than your plastic bag you're going to get out.
That's fine. My plastic bag gets repurposed through my garbage bag for my bathrooms, my kids' rooms.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, with how many plastic bags you get from Walmart and all those places, trust me, I have a lot of plastic bags, all right?
I know.
I will probably not use them. With how many plastic bags I keep acquiring, I will never go through my plastic bags in my lifetime.
Because you keep acquiring them. But if you stop acquiring them...
I'd have to stop buying groceries then.
Well, if you only shopped at Aldi and used your reusable bag for a year, you'd be out of bags.
But Aldi doesn't have everything that I want.
I know. I'm using it as a statement of argument here.
Okay, but I'm just saying, it's like, so now I go to a different place. I go to Myers, and Myers, I get deals and all that stuff, but guess what? I could be bringing a reusable bag there, but I don't because I'm lazy. But...
Because you don't love the sea turtles, that's why you use a straw.
I don't love the sea turtles. I don't have an emotional connection to them like I do my dog, okay? Like, ooh, yeah, sea turtle. Yeah, sure, they're cool and everything, but stop doing your Coke down under the sea, okay? Okay, right. Stop using your plastic straws to sniff your Coke.
All right. Anyways, so government wants you to fail, and that's why it's set up that way. Other things that they do is that we can only assume based off of recent events is rig elections.
We assume they're rigged.
I assume, my personal opinion is, from someone who stayed up and watched the numbers the night of the election, that type of swing doesn't happen.
No. The thing is, it's never happened. It's not impossible, just very highly improbable.
Republican, not extremist, Republican here. And I will tell you this. Barack Obama, who had the most presidential votes in history when he won his first election, when he spoke his first term, hate him or like him, don't care. I didn't vote for him, didn't like him. As far as the political side of things, when he spoke, he drew you in. He was the best speaker of our time. He was the best public speaker of our time. And he didn't get as many votes as your daughter smells nice. Ramblin' Joe Biden gets more votes. Campaigning, or lack thereof.
That's because he had Obama backing him.
No. It's because...
Okay, I'm not going to say it's because he had Obama. Listen, I'm just saying, that was a big election. It was Trump versus Biden. That's what it was.
I just don't see the math lining up. Not saying that Biden couldn't have won fairly. We're not going to get into that. That could be another debate because let's say it was fairly. I don't see Biden getting more votes than Obama. That's where I'm leaving that subject at.
Yes, but you have to admit this. You have to admit this. It is not impossible. It's just very highly likely improbable.
There's a website you can use. I don't know the name of it off the top of my head, so I'm not an endorser of this. But you could search, if you know someone's name, address, and date of birth, you can search to find out if they voted in the election. It won't tell you who they voted for. It'll just tell you if they voted. On that note, I can give you multiple accounts of people that me and close family and friends looked up their name, address, date of birth, typed it into the system, and found out these people voted. The funny thing is, those people have all been dead for years. But they voted. Now, you could argue that they voted for Republicans. You could argue that they voted for Democrats. The fact is, fraud is happening because they voted. Doesn't matter which way it goes. I know on a 100% proof basis that multiple, more than one, people who were dead at time of election by months to years voted in an election. Explain that.
No, I can't explain it.
Okay. So, therefore, I just proved that fraud happens in an election.
Do you stop being an American when you're dead? You see where I'm going with that, right?
We're not going to go down that road. No, you don't stop being an American when you're dead. But there's definitely fraud happening to what level. And I don't know, it could be the right, it could be the left, doesn't matter. It's just that it happens. And I don't see rambling Joe Biden, who even, rest in peace, Robin Williams, talk smack about, because rambling Joe Biden was rambling Joe Biden back when he was vice president. He's lied and caught in lies his entire career, saying he's got like top of his class degrees and all this stuff and blah blah. And it's come out later that he's not.
Don't get
not saying that Trump doesn't lie, because he does.
There you go.
But Trump is not a career politician. He did it for his own personal reasons.
But the thing is, it doesn't matter. Throughout the years, all politicians have lied. That's all they do is lie.
Politicians all lie. 100% agree. But Trump became president, ran for president for his own personal reason. Every other president does it because they're appointed by their affiliated party to do what they're supposed to.
Yeah.
And when Trump was in office, it was all smoke and mirrors the entire time. And maybe this is a whole nother conspiracy I've had. And I'll share it with you guys. First time I've mentioned it really out loud, what I'm going to call publicly, even though this isn't publicly. Maybe Trump was put in by the government as a whole so they can attack him the entire time while they did all their bullshit in the background, and all we cared about was, don't pick on Trump, or yes, let's attack Trump. He's the mean orange man with the mean tweets. You know, that was the focus was on him while they did all the bullshit that happened in the background and got us to where we are now. That's a whole other theory, conspiracy theory, that we could have that discussion about. We're not going to tonight. We're going to talk about why government doesn't want you to succeed. And they tell you to vote, but yet it's rigged against your actual vote. I understand electoral college. I understand popular vote. Why do we have electoral college or a popular vote? Because more people live in major cities, and people who live in the neighboring areas, so like me and my neighbors, generally speaking, as a majority, will have a similar vote. We will vote similar because we're neighbors. And you generally conjugate with like-minded people. Very seldomly do you have large groups of people that differ in views. So cities, generally speaking, on a majority standpoint, will have a like-minded opinion. Therefore, they will like-mindedly vote. So if you have 5 major cities in this country that account for more than 50% of the population, popular vote means nothing. Go into the electoral side of things, where they take into other considerations. I say go by counties. Let each county, if you win that county, so whatever we have, I don't know how many counties we have in the country, but say we have 1,000 counties for easy math. If you win 500...
Why not just base it off of a state? Say there's 10 counties in the state of Wisconsin.
Okay, there's more than that, but yeah, say 10. If you win 6 of them, you win the state. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
But it's not, because Trump lost Wisconsin, but he had almost every county in Wisconsin red in the election. But hey, government, they're going to do what they're going to do. And we're $30x trillion in debt. We're nearing a bank collapse. Got the Fed now coming out to get rid of cash and go cashless society. every politician, we can look up their salaries, but yet they're all millionaires. They all know what stock to buy, when to buy it. Lobbying should be treasonous acts. Like if you're lobbying for a politician to push through things that would benefit you as a corporation, that politician should be tried with treason and lose everything.
Just so you know, we are way off
I know.
subject.
I know what's going to happen with this subject.
Okay, I'll try to bring it back. All right. So anyway, yeah, but like I was saying, as an American society, we push, kids to go into debt. A bank, like we were discussing at dinner, a bank will give you $180,000 loan to go to school, and it's going to take you the next 40 years to pay it off. But they don't want to give you, a $25,000 loan for a car.
Or to start a business.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It is. And
why would they?
Why? Because you will succeed. Here's the thing. And
but what do successful people all have in common? They avoid taxes.
Yeah, but not even that. Think of it this way. Here's the easiest way to think of it. This is my little conspiracy theory. You could go with it or not. Okay, it goes back to Syndrome in Incredibles. Okay, in the Incredibles movie, he goes, "If everybody's super, then nobody is. So if everybody's rich, nobody is."
Yeah.
So how do the rich stay rich? By keeping... I mean, look at it this way. Well, yeah. McDonald's and everything just started saying, oh, you can make up to $15 an hour. Yep. Starting. That does not mean you're going to make $15 an hour starting. That means you can make up to. It just depends on where you are at your skill level. Minimum wage still has not been raised. Minimum wage is still, I think, in $7 like $7.35 or something.
I don't know, but minimum wage doesn't matter. If you're an adult, I'm not picking on any adult out there who's in this situation, but if you're an adult and your skill set is so low that you can only find a minimum wage job, there's a problem.
There are jobs that pay less than minimum wage, but still people do better.
Tip-based industry, service industry. That's different. We're not talking about that. Service industry is by far in America, because you go overseas and they don't do tips.
What about fully grown adults that are like handicapped and everything?
Okay, there's still a job out there for them. Being handicapped does not mean you are useless. It means you have a disadvantage in some aspects, but it does not mean you're useless. There are plenty of handicapped people who do amazing things, and then there are some handicapped people who just can't do anything, and what they get? They get disability. And while disability is much like Social Security, it's fucking shit because your government doesn't give a fuck about you. It's all false security that you're trading. You're trading away your freedoms for false security and false promises. And if you're my age and you have kids, your kids are going to grow up in a real shitty world with debt, war, and ruin. Because how? Sit back one day and look at the number, $30 trillion. How does that be paid? How does that ever get paid back? How? And for you people, it's not that bad. We're a big country. We have 300 million people, 360 million people, and 140 million of those people are paying taxes. Great. Good for you. Did you know to count to 1 billion as a 1 second interval would take you 31 years to count to 1 billion? 1 billion. So $1 trillion, you couldn't count to that in 2 lifetimes. And if you don't believe me, Alexa, how long does it take to count to 1 trillion? Alexa, how long does it take to count to 1 trillion?
It would take about 31,710 years to count to a trillion if you counted...
Alexa, cancel. 31,000 years to count to a trillion, but you think we're going to get out of debt, $30 trillion in debt in a lifetime, but you guys want to keep voting for these shitty politicians. Think about that. Think about your kids' future. If you're too old to have kids, think about your grandchildren's future. Think about the children that aren't even born yet. Think about that. And then you get... All right, so what was said got us canceled, so that was cut out, and this is being put in for a 14-second clip. If you want to hear the unedited version, go over to Spotify at Jack Tales. We apologize, but we got canceled. We'll leave that subject alone because I'm not getting canceled tonight. But think about that. $31 trillion that me and 100 people, me and 30,000 people couldn't count to 30 trillion in a lifetime.
I just kind of stopped listening after a little bit because you totally went off a subject again.
Again, I know.
We were just literally talking about minimum wage, and you were just like, debt, country's debt. I was just like,
I told you this is not the subject to have, but here we are. We're going to have it because
we were not supposed to talk about anything else except for the fact that the government wants you in debt. We weren't supposed to talk about the country's debt.
Well, here we are.
Why you're in debt and you're fucked.
Yeah, we're going to... I digress. And this is why these subjects are going to be fun. Here's your hook. Here's your bait. Here's why you follow, like, and share, and subscribe to Act Jack Tales. You want to know why? Because we're going to hit the subjects. I'm going to say it with the passion and emotion that I feel.
We're gonna say what the subject is, and then you're just gonna go on a tangent.
Yes,
that's all we're gonna do.
Welcome to K-Tales, where Jimmy just listens
Okay.
and then tries to bring me back to the rhythm.
This part's gone now, people. The JA is gone. No, the thing is, like, you say if you're an adult and all you can find is a minimum wage job. I don't think of it that way, okay? Because there may be somebody out there who literally is down on their luck and they can't find anything.
I promise you.
No,
I don't know what the numbers are.
Let's put it this way. When I got my trucking job, I was lucky. When I went and worked for the one company where I packed trucks and everything, okay, I was lucky. They said I was the only person they ever hired without a resume. I didn't have a resume. I got lucky. They said, you were lucky you got hired, that you didn't have a resume. Okay? There are some people who literally just won't hire. Did you know that most companies will look at you based off of your looks? There could be two of me, okay? One beardless, one with a beard, okay? If they like the beard more and I have less skill sets than the other me, they'll hire me just based off of my looks.
So depending on the type of company, there are many companies that'll hire you based off of your appearance, and the reason being is just like the military.
No, it's
a clean appearance, a clean looking person means you are more likely organized. Just like when you go trade in a car, if you take your car in, it's all dirty, it's not clean.
Yeah,
real fact.
That's not what I mean. It could be a bigger girl. It could be a bigger girl. It could be a bigger guy.
It just means that you're not taking care of yourself as much as the next person, which in their mind...
I don't even mean that bigger. I don't even mean like bigger. I don't mean like fucking, the person's pushing 600 pounds. I mean like maybe that person is maybe 5 pounds heavier, so maybe they got a little more of a chubby cheek.
Again, it goes with if you can take care of yourself and you have cleanliness as far as your personal care is a clean and neat personal care.
And I'm saying...
the belief of it is that will translate to the workforce of a clean, neat, productive work environment.
Okay. But I'm going to tell you right now, okay?
Don't be rude.
You're being rude.
I am.
Okay.
You're pissing me off.
Yeah, because it's bullshit. Because the thing is that a woman, even a guy who is a little bit skinnier, okay?
Yep.
Okay? Just because I'm bigger guy does not mean I am unhealthier than a guy who is skinny. In fact, it has been proven that guys who are skinnier, some of them are actually more unhealthy than guys our size.
Okay.
And the reason why is because of their eating lifestyle. Yes, their body's metabolism moves a lot faster than ours, so they don't gain the weight. But, they're eating the donuts, the cookies, and the chips, and all that stuff. Yeah. So they're technically unhealthy.
Okay.
But... because even though I have more skills, more knowledge, more all that stuff.
You'll get the job if you have more skills, more knowledge.
Not true. It has actually been proven. That companies will base it off of somebody's looks. Doesn't matter if the person has more skills and more stuff like that. Okay,
I promise you that right now what you're talking about is an exception to the rule. The rule will always take education, skills, and experience first.
I'm telling you.
Then they'll go into the next category.
No, because they even did a study on it. And they sent in two women who looked similar. One maybe had a little more of a frizz in her hair or something, where the other one's hair was like perfectly straight, great like that. She wore more makeup a little bit better, so she looked a little prettier. That's what it was. Okay? The woman who had the frizzy hair and everything, they had it to where her resume was stacked to the bone. Like, it fucking looked amazing.
Overqualified.
Okay? No.
Overqualified.
Not even overqualified. Asking exactly what they were looking for. Okay? The other one did not...
So, we're going to use two women for your situation here. For this exact study, we're going to use two women, right? Was the hiring manager, the hiring person, a male?
Yes.
Okay. Now your argument is now thrown out because males... I'm a male. We are pervy, disgusting creatures.
I don't disagree.
All right, so that argument is now gone.
But that's also not true, because they also did a second study, same way.
He was gay.
With a female.
With a female hiring manager?
Yes.
She was lesbian.
Oh, so we're just gonna throw that out.
Yep.
There.
Yeah.
Every
woman's a lesbian when she's drunk.
You know what?
Don't be
Now you're
rude.
being rude because now you're assuming what they are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Canceled.
Okay. You're assuming what they are because they could not have been, and you know that for a fact.
They might not have been. But I'll tell you what. If she's not, knowing the women that I've known most of my life, okay, if most of the women I know are sitting in that chair and they're hiring a woman on this side of the chair, they're hiring a girl who they feel is inferior to them, uglier, not as pretty, because they feel threatened.
Yeah, absolutely. I
So
don't disagree with
most. That
Yeah,
might
most.
again, in my experience, you listener, viewer, whatever you are, you might think differently, or might have different experience with that. But basing off of my experience, most women feel threatened by a woman that is prettier, more athletic, more fluent, educated than them. Most women would be, what's the word I'm looking for? Just go with threatened. They would feel threatened by that specific woman, especially if that specific woman is around something that they care about, their children or their husband.
Okay.
So, back to what this episode's supposed to be about.
Anyway, like I was saying,
I'm trying to get you back on track now.
That's what I'm saying. No, I was still on track. And, coming back to that's what I mean is that, being an adult, getting a minimum wage job, that may be the only thing you can get.
There is no factory anywhere by us, maybe not in the country, anywhere by us. There's no factory within 100 miles of this location that starts you off at minimum wage.
Absolutely. But I have walked people, when I worked at the factory that I worked at, we needed people, and we still turned people away.
Yeah, I would turn someone away if they smelled like drugs and alcohol,
They didn't
too.
smell like drugs or alcohol. They literally looked like capable people. I remember one time, this one guy, he was going to get hired. He was 50, apparently like I don't remember how old they said it. I think he said he looked like he was 40. Looked like it.
Okay.
Okay. I look like I'm 40 because I'm 33.
Okay. Come on.
But he looked like he was 40. Okay. We needed people. I remember the guy's name too, because we gave our lead shit about it all the time. The guy's name was Walter. He told us what the guy's name was. His name was Walter and everything. And we were like, "Did you hire Walter? Or like, no, Walter. He looked too old. He looked too old. It looked like he wouldn't be able to handle it or anything." And we were like, "Oh, come on, man. You should have fucking hired Walter. We needed Walter. What is your problem? Come on, man."
Maybe Walter said something in the interview that the company
No,
didn't
he
agree with.
literally said because he looked too old.
Well,
Which I'm pretty sure is illegal. But that's not my problem.
yeah, it's not my corporation.
Yeah. But, I'm just saying, just because you're looking for somebody doesn't mean the company's going to hire you.
Exactly. But that goes back to the earlier thing of opportunity, timing, and a little bit of everything else goes into it. I'm just saying, if you're looking for a job in America,
But that's why
There's
I don't.
no
But that's
reason-
why I'm saying I don't look at people. I don't look down at people, and I don't.
I'm not
like,
looking
if that-
down on you for
if
having
that-
a minimum wage job.
If
I'm
that's
saying,
if that's all you could get, good for you, man. Keep working, keep grinding. I hope things get better. I want you to do better. Minimum wage is stupid where it's at. Okay, people barely survive off of that stuff.
but what happens when you increase minimum wage?
Yeah, everything goes up.
Everything goes up because McDonald's already.
Don't get me wrong. Yes, people need to know how to save their money a little bit better at the minimum wage place. But you have to remember too, minimum wage. Okay, something goes wrong, you're screwed.
I get that. I'm not picking on someone who has to do it. I'm saying there is always another opportunity. Maybe not in like 2008, when the crash happened and big collapse. But right now, everywhere is hiring. Everywhere. So if you don't like your current job or they don't pay you enough, you go in, you ask for a raise, and you say, hey, based off of what I see out there for this specific job, most people are making X dollars an hour and I make Y. I would like to make X dollars an hour because I feel I'm a valuable asset to this company given the current market. You need help, I'm here, I show up every day. If you're not a piece of shit and you do what you're supposed to do, you're probably going to get that raise. And if not, the company doesn't value you, and you take that experience and that skill set that you have and you shop yourself around to another place that will value.
Let me keep your job until you find something.
Yeah,
okay?
I'm not telling you to walk away from a job.
Yeah. I did that once, and good God, that was terrible.
Yeah, you did it out of anger and spite.
I did. I really did. And I was one of the best workers there, too. I got an award and everything the year before, and I said, well, I don't like this anymore. You guys keep using me, so I'm done with this place.
So we're going to... 360.
I'm not.
We're going to 360 back to the beginning
I
here.
say we were done. I ain't done yet.
No, we're going to 360 back to the beginning here and talk about more of why the government doesn't want you to succeed. So we could talk about, we kind of touched on education, his debt standpoint, and not giving you the knowledge. My next big thing is kind of a cultural attack here. Fatherless homes that the government really pushed for on predominantly black people. And you'll see a lot of black fatherless homes. And in that situation, there's many studies done, and you could look up this. This is fact. This is not a race thing. It's fact. Many fatherless homes have children who don't necessarily succeed or conform to society the same way as a house with a father, and that also follows through with a single father and a child. That child will contribute to society a little bit more than being with a mother. So my opinion on the matter is that the government, again, not wanting people to succeed, attacked black culture, white culture, men in general, and took as many fathers out of the equation as possible and put them in jail, which is privatized by their friends, who then they get paid. Because if you don't know how the jail system works in America, it's a real fantastic process. Most of them, if not all of them, aren't owned by the government. They're actually owned privately, and those people get paid by the government, and that money goes back into politicians' pockets through lobbying, which, again, I said earlier, should be charged for treason if you're a politician taking money to push through bills and other things that are not for the people. So removing fathers from the home has historically proven to be a huge impact on children and how they adapt, grow up, learn, and then contribute as adults to society, turning them to what we would call repeat offenders, because now they're more likely to be criminals. Not that they're all going to be, but they're more likely to be than someone who is raised by a single father or by a wholesome family. And that is an attack by the government on families.
Okay, now let's go back. I'm going to go back. Now you covered that. My thing is taxes. Okay.
Our yearly subscription to live in this country, and we get nothing for it.
Yeah, and my thing on it is that like literally they will start making taxes, passing taxes and everything. When was the last time you voted on a tax raise?
Never.
I've never heard of it. I'll tell you right now, if there was a vote for that, that'd be a vote that James would go to.
I would vote. I'm
all for it. But they say that when you vote for your president and everything, those are the taxes. No, bull.
You're voting for someone.
Here's the thing. What I don't understand is, okay, I work my ass off every week. Every week I work my ass off. Okay? Every year. Okay? I have to work myself to the bone to make my six figures. Mm-hmm. All right? Politician, they work for me. Why does a politician make more money than me?
So I'll touch on that. And this is one thing where we actually really differ on. And we've had this conversation before. Now, while I believe in somewhat of a term limit, not necessarily 4 or 8 years like most people, I think that as far as a Congress or a state representative, I believe 20 years should be your max total serving time. And the reason being, I think 20 years, and we're going to get to the money here in a second. I don't want someone who goes and gets elected to the Senate and does their 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, 8 years, what have you, and then goes and runs for president with little to no experience. I'd rather have someone who gets elected, and my whole political belief system is it should be generational based. Each state should have to produce one person from each generation to represent it, because an 80-year-old person like my grandmother has far different needs than I do, and I have different needs than my sister-in-law who's in her early 20s. My grandmother needs Social Security to get a fucking increase so she can live and enjoy life. Me, I need less tax burden. So let's just get rid of state and federal tax and do a value-added tax where everything we buy has a tax associated to it. So the more prestigious of the item you buy, a yacht has a higher tax than, your gallon of gas you buy. So that way, everyone is contributing a fair amount. We don't need the IRS. We don't need to file taxes anymore. And we'll actually, through that system, gain more money. So if each age group, so let's say there's 5 age groups. You know, you got someone 18 to 28, 28 to 38, 38 to 48, 48 to 58, 58 to 68, and then retirement age. So however many age groups that ends up being, I think it was 5, right?
Somewhere in there. I think
so. Each of those age groups should get a representative in government to represent their generation on what their needs are. And each state should have to appoint one. That person then does work for us. And their wages, while most would say, that's crazy that they get paid that. Okay, I don't think they should get paid for the rest of their life. I think they should get paid it while they're in office because, again, my belief is you can't lobby, you can't buy stocks, you can't do any outside financial stuff. You can't own a business. You can't take money from lobbying. You can't invest in stocks. You can't have anything else outside of your wage. So when we look at you, you're $160,000, $180,000. That's all you get with your benefits. I don't care that you work half a year. I don't care that you're getting the bomb-ass retirement. And if you get reelected by the people in your state, good for you. You get your 20 years. You get your full pension. You don't have to worry about shit. You've had a comfy, cozy life. Why I believe you get that money is because you are elected every 2 to 4 years by the people, and you are putting yourself and your family, not necessarily in harm's way like a police officer or military, but you're putting your family and yourself in harm's way because there are bad people out there. Even if you win 99 out of every 100 votes, that one person might be crazy enough to fucking want to kill you. So I think, yes, your wage is okay and justifiable in that instance. But it's not forever, and you have to get reelected. And I don't think some are 2, some are 4 years. I think that it should be every other year, so that way every other year you're up for reelection, but we have an election every year, so you're rotating through the people, and that gives new people, new blood, I'm going to call it, to come to the table and work for the people, which is what the government's supposed to do. They're supposed to work for the people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They're supposed to represent my interests and my beliefs.
Government by the people
and
for the
while
people.
I'm a pro-Trump guy and I'm a Republican, and Trump magically aligns with my beliefs as far as majority goes, most 70, 80-year-old men don't align with my beliefs. Biden, even if he was Republican, doesn't align with my beliefs. He's too old school. He doesn't think the same way as me. He doesn't have the same goals, aspirations as me because his life is coming to an end. Where mine is just in the mix. I'm in the beginning. I'm mid-life right now. I have another half a lifetime to live. His is nearing the end. Mine doesn't align with my sister-in-law who's 12 years younger than me, 10 years younger than me, what have you. You know, she's just getting out of college, just starting life. Hers are completely different. And then someone who's 55, no kids, they're all off out of college and graduated. You know, they're enjoying their last few good years before they go into retirement, their golden years as they call them. They have different aspirations than I do. So each of us need to be represented equally. And that's where our government fails because they think majority of our politics. What's that? Hold on. I'm going to stop. Alexa, what's the average age of a U.S. politician?
From us.ac.uk. While experience can be an important part of being an effective politician, the average age of a U.S. senator is 62. For the House, it is 58.
58 and 62 years old are averages for the House and Senate. I can promise you, if that's the average, that's telling you there's a lot of 70 and 80-year-olds in there because there are some 30-year-olds in there. And I really doubt the youngest politician has got to be at least 25 right now. That's pretty accurate. Can you think of? I can't even think who. AOC, she's pretty young. I don't think she's the youngest though.
25. 25 is pretty young for a politician.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think there's a 20. Alexa,
I don't think you can.
Who's the youngest politician?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, who was the youngest president? Theodore Roosevelt was the youngest man to become president.
That's not the question.
He was vice president under McKinley when McKinley was assassinated. Roosevelt was 42
Alexa,
years.
cancel. Alexa, who is the current youngest politician in the United States?
From visualcapitalist.com. The youngest member of Congress is Republican Madison Cawthorn, a representative for North Carolina at just 25 years old.
Oh.
So 25 years old is the youngest. And we know the oldest is at least 80. Huge gap there. And majority of them are going to be closer to the average age than the 25 age, clearly. So they're not representing Americans as a whole, especially because at the average age of 62 and 58, you're not even covering the majority of the working class. So that's where my system, that will never come into effect, it would be awesome if it did, would benefit society as a whole. But how do we get there? How do you get rid of such deep, swampy trash, both sides?
You vote. That's what it is.
You can't vote them all out.
Why not?
Because they don't all come up for election at once.
I understand that. But why can't we as the people come along and go, hey...
No current member gets reelected?
No, I'm just saying, why us as the people can we go, right into whoever the hell we got to write into, president, Congress, Senate, I don't know who, and go, hey, we want to vote right now to either get you guys out and get new people in, or to keep you in. Why can't we do that? They work for us. They are our employees.
I get that. I don't know why you can't do that. Probably because it's some kind of contractual agreement.
No, it's because I'll tell you exactly why. It's because we let them.
Well, they have their term. They're voted in for their term.
No, it's because we let them. That's what it is. We as Americans, we are the mass population. You take all the Congress, all the Senate.
Well, that's why they divide us. That's why you have liberals and conservatives. That's why you have black and white. That's why you have man and woman. That's why you have trans and not trans. You have gay and straight. You have Christian and not Christian. You have...
When we're all just people.
Yeah.
We're all people in the same
keep us at each other so we can never come together. We can never unify to stand against the deep state.
But would you say this? That if any tax is going to come out, raising, lowering, all that stuff, there needs to be a vote on it.
No. I think that my system, as explained earlier, with proper representation for each generation.
Yeah, but if you get one guy coming in, if you can't vote on a tax that they want to do, you could have the 18 to the 28-year-olds. You said that's what it was. He comes in and he's just like, well, I'm your representative. I know what's best. So guess what? You guys need to pay more taxes. I know what's best.
So maybe he knows what's
best.
But
why can't I vote on that tax? What if it's a stupid tax?
How would you the amount of time and effort and money would go into to voting on every simple issue such
You're
as...
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. But what if it's an astronomical tax? It's like, oh, I'm going to raise everything 5%, that you have to pay for.
Well, going back to why I think we should have a value-added tax, and that value-added tax would always cover our spending.
Okay, now he goes like this. He's like, okay, when... if you are 18 to 28, you have to show your ID. So all the politicians agree. They go, yeah, when you go buy your groceries, you have to show your ID to show your age. If you are at this age, you have to pay 15% more tax than the person at that age.
No, because that's not the value-added tax program I just mentioned. I mentioned it's based off of the good you buy.
It's based off of, but now you're saying the representative there, and he thinks that's best. That the 18 to 28-year-old... they need to pay more taxes. Because now you just fall back into that same system.
You can fall back in that same system.
Yes, you can.
But that's what I'm saying. That 18 to 28-year-old doesn't get to vote for the other 25 or 28 to 38 and all those.
They don't.
He has to sway the majority to implement that tax. And if that tax gets implemented and whoever...
No, because you're basing it off of that's their representative. He should only be in charge for them.
No, he's not only in charge for them. He's representing them. He's still part of...
So he is saying...
hold on. The House and the Senate don't change. The House and the Senate, as far as their operations, does not change. Just the people in there, so that the age is not 58 and 62. You have a representative for each age group.
And you then... But see, the problem
But they're not voting on just stuff for that age group. They're voting for the whole. They're representing that age group. They're saying, hey, people my age, this is what they think. And then this guy's going to say...
And he's 100% wrong. He's 100% wrong because he goes in there, he's like... I think that my age group, they want to pay more taxes.
And someone else might be like, well, we're not... You would never charge a tax because that would be... The value-added tax would be just that. It's a value-added tax. The tax isn't based off of age. It's not based off of race. It's not based off of anything else. It's a value-added tax. So this mouse is a basic product. The tax in this...
But what I'm saying is with your system, and I understand your system, the whole... 5 to 10% thing on
Everything you buy. There's no state income tax.
And
no federal
I get that. But all you need is one person to go in there who's a representative and go, hey, I think it'd be a great idea.
But that one person would have to still sway. If we're talking really 6 times 50, you're still talking 300 people.
You're right. But now you end up in that one thing. They're not lobbying or anything for corporations. Now they're just doing it for themselves. Okay?
But why would someone ever want to increase their tax burden?
You have a representative. He's in office.
He's 18 to 28. Why is he trying to increase his tax burden for himself?
He's not trying to increase it for him because he's going to find a way around it because this is what politicians do, and you know that. You know that for a fact.
You're missing the whole point of this is why you have an election every 2 years for each
because
term of each
if
person.
He raises the taxes over here, now those taxes without representation is illegal. Okay.
Yes.
But if I came along, okay, we're not going to go deep into it, but I'm going to tell you right now. If I charge you a tax and say it's for me to have more money, okay, right there. That's representation on the tax that I am making for you. Okay? The reason why the Tea Party and all that stuff happened, okay, was because it was taxation without representation. The British was taking money and people had no idea what the hell it was going towards.
Yeah.
That's why you have taxation without representation.
So but they tell us what it's going for today, they just lie.
Yes. But so
they tell us that they spend $100
the representative can go convince everybody, hey, when people buy groceries and everything, they show their IDs too. Okay? Now the one representative just has to say, hey, now it's called an age tax. So if you're 18 to 28, now they have to pay more taxes.
So put it in the Constitution. Put the value-added tax as a constitutional amendment.
But what I'm saying is
so that way it can't be voted on.
But that's what I'm saying. Is you're just raising the taxes again. That's all you're doing.
If I do a value-added tax and I put it in the Constitution as an amendment, add another amendment to the Constitution that in the United States, our taxes will always be based off of products in this fast. So
as we all know, okay, you can
make amendments. Yes. It's much harder to amend the Constitution.
No, it's not. It didn't take long for alcohol when it was under prohibition to come back.
It's harder. Doesn't mean it can't be done. It's hard. It's a more difficult process.
How? How is it more difficult? All you just need is people voting on it. That's all it is. It's not a difficult process at all. All you need is somebody to go, I don't like this, and then they vote on it. Done. That's all it is. The only things that are absolute in the Constitution are your Bill of Rights. That is it. That is the only absolute.
So make an absolute. Add it to the Bill of Rights. Your right to representation through taxation, through a value.
I don't know if you can add anything to the Bill of Rights.
Through a taxation program that is outlined as follows and will only increase as needed to keep a surplus of money in the United States that will never exceed, let's say, population. So if we have 300 million people, it'll never exceed $300 million in a surplus. And if it exceeds that, then we would do what they did back with George Bush, which was stimulus checks. And you put that in there in such a manner and such wording that it is pure as the Bill of Rights and is pure and untouchable to where we'll always have a fair representation for it.
But how do we know? Okay, so what you're saying is that the surplus...
Really smart people will write it. Smarter than me.
No, I get that. So but I'm saying though, like a surplus where it is,
So we're in a deficit nationwide. We have $37 trillion of money.
Let me finish, fool. Let me finish. Okay, so that way I can try to follow you where you're at. Okay. So you're saying a surplus that it should never exceed 300 million. Does that include that they're using some of that money to pay back our country's debt or whatever?
So we're in a deficit. I knew exactly where you're going with this. We're in a deficit. We have $30 trillion deficit.
Yes.
So we have to pay off that deficit, or we have to fuck you to the rest of the country, the rest of the world, to get rid of that deficit. So now we take our money that gets collected from our nation's taxes, and we pay. We didn't fuck you to the whole world. You're gonna pay your debt bill down. Okay. You're gonna pay all your current bills down. So your defense budget, your schools, roadway, infrastructure, all that's still getting paid, right? All your back things, Social Security. All that's still getting funded, okay? And the debt's going to go down. Eventually, not in our lifetime, the debt hits zero. We owe nothing to the rest of the world. Now we start going surplus, which we did under Bill Clinton. We had a surplus of money under Bill Clinton. And I fucking hate Democrats, but guess what? That guy was smart. I don't know how he did it. It's before my time. We had a surplus of money. We were not in a deficit when Bill Clinton was in office. And all he did was get a little under the fucking desk in the Oval Office. So, hate them all you want, love them all you want. We have a surplus of money. So when you have a surplus, okay, now we have a surplus of money. Boom, we're surplus. Now we get to population. So population now, let's just say 330 million. When you exceed 330 million, because you're gonna get your money's gonna come influx. So at the next fiscal year, okay, next calendar year, whatever you want to call it, next tax year, it's 2023. So 2024, hey, at 2023 we had $330 million in the account. It's 2024. Everything's paid for the year. We readjusted all our budgets and everything's covered, and we're gonna have $600 extra million in our bank account. So we're gonna go ahead and give every American roughly $2 back to you guys. Doesn't seem like a lot, but we're keeping that population 1 for 1. $1 extra per citizen in the United States. That number never goes.
So what you're saying is that it'll change things, and we also have to put a lot of faith in our government.
It wouldn't be faith in the government if you re-elected everything and you outlined it through amendments and added.
Yeah, but you have to trust them that they're actually paying the bills and all that shit.
We already trust them. You need oversight. You can never have no government.
Yeah.
It can never happen.
I'm not saying
someone needs to manage defense. Someone needs to manage Homeland Security, which is a joke, but we need it. Someone needs to manage infrastructure, schooling, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. So all you people out there, we should have universal health care for everyone, and it should just be afforded to us for free like other countries do. We already have it. This whole Obamacare shit was stupid. You could have just went with Medicare, Medicaid. We already all pay it. Utilize that. The problem is we're a capitalistic country, and pharmaceutical business is a great business to be in because they can get whatever they want for drugs. It's a whole nother topic that we can get in another time. But we already have it. It's just wrongly implemented. I think we need to kind of cut this off right here, and we're going to do a part 2 immediately following this episode. I don't want to run into another hour-long episode, which I'm pretty sure we're already well past an hour at this point. So I do apologize if you guys are only trying to plan on these 30 to 45-minute episodes and we keep doing these hour-longs. But we're Jacktails. Like, follow, share, subscribe. Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok. Yeah, I still got to look at the sign. We're new at this. This is part 1 of 2. We will resume part 2 next week.
Yeah.
Next week. So thank you for being our viewers, and sorry if this was a little too much for you. This is stuff that really hits home because I have kids, and I don't see a future for my kids in where they can succeed in this country the same way my ancestors have succeeded. You have anything on the sign out, or?
No, just
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude.